Yo, what is up, good people? We are back. This is the Bring the Heat podcast. We appreciate you joining in. To my left or right, I've got Mariah, 49 Faithfully.
What up? What up?
And to my left, I got Bashar, 49er Minded.
Woohoo.
Yo, what's up?
And I am Ryan from No Border Sports.
Woohoo.
That was a boo.
He doesn't have a border.
Yeah, no borders, borderless. Here we are, Bring the Heat. We've got a lot to talk about with the Steelers, week 1. And of course, probably the biggest thing everybody is talking about, and rightly so, is Nick Bose and his contract. So, man, have we had a tumultuous offseason of I think bad moves left and right.
Well, you spoke in the past tense. It's the offseason still going on up until kickoff, so the bad stuff is still kind of going on.
Still having.
Well, no, because this is a regular game week, so this is season. You know what I mean? This is like I see what you're saying, and I respect that, but the way I'm looking at it right now, they aren't working on formation. They're trying to figure out how they match up against an opponent, which is different than like training camp or preseason to me.
Yes, sir.
Whatever.
A lot of peeps in the
Make sure
chat.
we say hello to everybody. Yeah.
What up, chat?
Just got throwback in the house. What up, throwback? We got Bebop Jones.
Bebop-a-roni.
He said Cleveland Farrell with the starters, though. Yeah. Shout out. Thank you for tuning in. We got Raphael. He says, what's up, Ryan, Mariah, Bashar, and everyone?
What up?
Raphael was in another show I was with Ted earlier. Appreciate you showing back up again, sir. We got Mariah up in the chat.
What up, Mariah?
Corey Davis in the house. Got Corey Davis in the house, the glue of the 49ers community.
What up, Corey?
We got Jess from the East Coast Red and Gold podcast. Check out her
Jess.
show tomorrow.
Shout out to Jess, East Coast Red and Gold.
And is your show Thursday, Mariah, with TL? Or is it Wednesday? Oh, okay. I was going to say, because
it's no set day.
Yeah. So I gave Ted this option earlier. Do you want to talk about the Steelers first? Do you want to talk about Bose's contract first?
Might as well talk about Bosa first.
Yeah, it's probably best. So what are the is the narrative officially changed to it's the guaranteed money? Or are we still back on the highest paid? What is the overall assumption of what it is that we're stuck on?
My guess is probably the guaranteed money. It's probably what it is because players want guaranteed money. Seems like more so than anything else. At least that's the way I see it. It's kind of funny with this Bosa thing, though. It's like every time you think something is going to get done and you hear some good news, you almost hear some like bad news then the following day. Like there's no consistency at all with this Bosa shit going on. And for the longest time, many guys, including myself, many people on YouTube, content creators, we're like, no big deal, they'll get it done. I'm not worried about Bosa. Not worried about now everybody's fucking worried about it. So it's got to the point where it's like, get something done right the heck now,
So could the kind of changing narrative be a clue that things are actually getting done? So I was just thinking, right as like right after I asked you that question, I started thinking like, wait a second. I kind of, started thinking about how I was going to answer my own question type of thing. And I was thinking, well, if you were going to, let's say you hadn't really discussed a lot of contract because you were trying to play hardball, right? And you come in, now you got to get to the grindstone because your player's not on not out on the field, right? So what's the first thing you're going to work on? It's going to be the yearly pay, right? What's the next thing? The next big thing you think they're going to work on? The guaranteed money. So I wonder if the shift in the narrative is actually the timeline of the deal. Now that's, just what sprung up into my head. It just because it could make some sense. But what if that's the case and we might be a couple of days from Nick Bosa signing a contract?
I hope
I'm gonna say the one positive that I did hear today. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but it did say something. I did retweet it actually. It said the 49ers just created $2 million of extra cap space. It was brought up by 49ers News and 24/7. He said, "I wonder why." So the fact that they cleared some money should be a step in the right direction. But
that just means they can use it next year if they don't spend it this year. And the way they would restructure Bosa's contract, most likely, we wouldn't be worried about money essentially for him this year or next year. It would be those years afterwards is where they start loading it up. So to me, that doesn't really say anything. I thought that's how Gonzalez was going to go. Wasn't sure about the other guy. So to me, that's kind of just like business as usual to me.
I agree.
Or like right before the trade line,
was going to happen.
We're going all in. Yeah, more for that, mid-season acquisition money.
Can I ask you guys a question? Go ahead, Mariah.
So that was like house cleaning because they're injured. They needed to go. We weren't keeping them around. They weren't going to stay on the team for any reason. So
it was accounting. It's just accounting like stuff. Just loose ends you're tying up.
Where are your excitement levels for this upcoming season opener? Because I'll be honest, for me, I'm pretty drained with all the BS that's been going on.
Yeah, I totally feel that.
Mm-hmm. I would say about on a 1 to 10, about a 6.
Yeah, I'm like a 5.5 or a 6, basically. You know what? I'm kind of a late bloomer when it does come to excitement. Sometimes it literally has to be like right before the game starts, and then I get pumped up. But yeah, well, Swan Song. You want to read that?
Hey, Swan.
Shout out Swan Song. First thing, I haven't seen you in a minute. Yeah, appreciate you stopping in, sir. He says, I want Kyle and John to get kicked in the nuts and the rest of the fans turn against him. Like, I was just thinking back today because Ted was like, do you want to yell at Kyle for the Trey Lance thing? And I was like, didn't we talk about that? And like, I was like, well, yeah, we already talked about the cuts. And he's like, oh yeah. And I was just thinking back and then again of, you kept all the shitty O linemen, Kyle. What the hell are you thinking? You kept all the shitty ones and all the ones that had any sort of talent, you let walk and get picked up. Yes, that is a nutsack kickable offense. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Because Nick Zakelj has size and Lil Manning has short arms. It's like, well, maybe the guy can fucking play regardless. So,
right? What did we see Lil Manning doing in preseason? Blocking people. What didn't we see from Nick Zakelj? You didn't see blocking people.
and that Raider preseason game in the first,
we saw penalties.
First and second quarter, I saw Nick Zakelj look like he did not belong in an NFL uniform. I was like, what? I was screaming and cussing at, like, what's wrong with these guys? Him and a few other guys that had no idea what to do when it came to blocking somebody. They're killing me.
I don't give a fuck how smart you are. You're an offensive lineman. if you can't block, you have no reason to be on the field, have a locker. That's literally 3/4 of your job. The other quarter is knowing who you're blocking. it's
Like,
Hopefully, we never have to see him.
give me some dumb 350-pound ogre. I don't need somebody to be some financial analyst that's on the football field if they can't fucking block anybody. Seriously. But
you don't have to be smart to be an offensive lineman. You don't have to be smart to be an offensive lineman. It's just handy if you know everything that's going on and you can remember stuff. It's just handy. But you don't need to be a genius. Even people who aren't smart can memorize things, can figure out what play it is. You know what I'm saying? That it's totally in between. It's in regular people's grasp. You know what I'm saying? It is not something you need a top tier person to do.
I was gonna say this because you guys were mentioning how Ted, and I was asking you the same thing before the show was started, like, because we hadn't really touched the Trey Lance thing as a group. I've touched on my channel by myself. We've touched on different platforms, but I mentioned it to you, and then you're like, well, Kyle has to give me something to get pissed at. But I'll say this though, I have been noticing this trend on Twitter. I noticed a lot of the people who were gung ho about Brock Purdy being this franchise quarterback right now, and saying Trey Lance was the most garbage thing that we've ever drafted on planet Earth. Those same people are the same people who are hesitant to criticize Kyle and John about anything. I notice if you criticize the regime, criticize any dumb things they do, you're going to get a huge backlash from those same people.
Yeah. Which, look, I understand people were like, hey, pump the brakes. We saw what happened last time when we had a good coach and we just got rid of him. It was just rocky for years. Like, I respect that. I understand that. That's something that I think in the back of my head too. Right? But the people were like, there's no way you could ever criticize Kyle Shanahan. Like, oh yeah? How many Super Bowls he got? You know what I mean? Think about it. I'm not over here telling you that Bill Walsh is doing things wrong. Why is that? Why is that? I'm not telling you Andy Reid's doing things wrong. Why is that? I'm not telling you Bill Belichick's doing things wrong. Why is that? They got the rings already. They've proven they know how to do it. And they've repeated the process. That's the big thing. You repeat the process. I didn't get lucky. I chose to do it twice. I was able to do it twice. There's a big step there, and Kyle doesn't have it. So until he gets there, he is still able to be criticized. And even after he wins multiple Super Bowls, you can be criticized. If something is worthy of being criticized, I'm sorry. I don't care about your pride. It needs to be. Look, me, if I'm doing things wrong, I need to be criticized. Why? Because I need to get my ass back in line. Right? Isn't that how checks and balances work?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Swan Song's going off the chat, by the way.
Man, Swan should have been on the show.
I know. He should have been on the panel, dude. We could have used you, man.
Yeah. He could bring the heat.
I think Mariah might have stepped away. Maybe I'll wait till Mariah comes back and bring this up. I got a point to add about that, but go ahead and read it.
Yeah, the arrogance of Kyle makes me sick. Yeah. It to me, it's like rich kid shit. Like, Dad, sorry, I wrapped my Ferrari around the telephone pole. Can you come pick me up and take me to a dealership so I get another car? I gotta go to a friend's house. You know what I mean? That's what I see. Oh, whoops. Yeah. You wonder why his dad with 2 Super Bowl champions and his one is still not in the Hall of Fame. Well, think about this. Kyle probably thinks those are his 2 Super Bowl wins. It's his dad's system, right? And he's the guy who has brought his dad's system into the new century. So, like, maybe he thinks that those are his Super Bowls too. Maybe that's why he's got so many.
Swan song. Corey
Chief.
Davis asked in the chat, he said 49er minded, would you do an F-bomb video if the 49ers traded Nick Bosa to the Cowboys? I'll make the F-bomb video of F-bomb videos if that were to ever occur.
I
God
couldn't
forbid.
see them ever doing
Most
that.
definitely.
And check the private chat
They-
really quick, Ryan. I sent you something.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
care.
if you're-
Why
if
do
They
I
want to be
care?
ran out of town, tar and feather.
Yeah, nobody's
go
above,
ahead.
Yeah, okay, cool. Because it's basically touches on the subject that we're talking about, Kyle and his arrogance and all this other stuff. So I just thought it was really funny, and I'm gonna put in the request for you in just a moment so we can have a little fun here. This was created by Sour
Yes,
Depth
Swan.
Sam off of Twitter, and it's something he did on his YouTube channel called the Kyle 5000. Basically, it's a
Jets
Kyle.
want every 49ers player.
What's that?
I said the Jets want every 49ers player.
Oh, they do. They sure do. It's I don't know if you got my request, Ryan. There you go. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this video really quick. It's by Sourdough Sam from Twitter. Shout out to him. And it's called the Kyle 5000. It's a Kyle Shanahan robot, guys. So enjoy.
So I got a friend over here. His name's Kyle 5000. Paid a lot of money for him. Hey Kyle, why were you acting like such a fucking asshole today?
Sorry if I came off that way. I'll work on my communication and ensure that the focus remains on the game and our players. Your feedback is valued.
All right, I can deal with that.
No, it's not. No, it's not. The feedback is not valued. You know why? Because he's smarter than everybody else. He's smarter than the defensive coordinators that stop his offense in the Super Bowl or in the NFC Championship games. He's smarter than the people who draft better quarterbacks in front of him and figure out how to develop them by actually giving them some sort of attention. Yeah.
He's smarter than the guys who draft world all-pro linemen in front of him all the time.
You know what? I'm wondering if I can teach Chat GPT Kyle's offense, teach them the rules of defenses, and then just ask them to call plays and take accountability when things go wrong. And I bet you have a better coach. He's not, yes, exactly. He's not a coach. He's a play caller and a ringleader. That's all. He's a play caller and a best bud. When it comes to making hard decisions, he can't because he's everybody's friends. Because he wants to be young and cool too. Because the cool guy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He wears the Yeezys.
On the surface, you think that sounds cool, like, oh, he's a player coach, but the problem is he doesn't actually coach up players. So maybe unless they're a wide receiver, perhaps, but that's about it. I mean,
well, he'll coach people up in his system, but when it comes to you being the positional player that you are, he has no idea what you need to do for the most part, unless you're a wide receiver. Like he can show you where to make the cut, but I can show you where to cut. You know what I mean? Like I can show you on film there's your hole. You know what I'm saying?
it's about 5 feet wide.
I got that talent. Yeah, I was on Madden. I used to run all the time. Run the ball, never punt. Bang.
Have you guys? I keep mentioning going back to Twitter because it's just I see all this backlash whenever Kyle gets criticized, and it got to this point where some people they're so stuck on like adoring this front office, this regime, Kyle and John, that they went as far as to say, oh, Nick Bosa's not that great of a player. He doesn't deserve this money. Like they made it sound like, oh yeah, why this regime shouldn't pay him, and we should just trade him off, and he's not that good. You know?
Yeah. So, shout out to Throwback. Appreciate you. He says, y'all see Mike Tomlin's presser. He's a heck of a coach. He knows what's up. He knows what's up on Kyle. Yeah. So how do we get back to this setup? Oh, that's right. I think this is probably okay. I gotta adjust the other one anyways. I think that what I heard from him was he was saying the fire in which he uses to coach is the one that he should have had when he played. Essentially, he was saying, I never lived up to what I could have been as a player. Says essentially that's why he attacks coaching the way he does, is because he doesn't want to leave anything left on the field. And so I'm sure he also has that outlook for all the players on his team, is he wants the best for them. He wants them to achieve their best. That's why probably he's always got a team that's over 500, no matter who's on the roster. That's probably one of the reasons why when you listen to him talk, you want to go, yes, sir. You know what I mean? Because he like commands respect when he talks. You don't know him as a person, but you know damn well that when he says something, he's going to follow through on it. You know what I mean? That you know this. These are things that you know. You don't even have to met him that you know that's going to happen. And you know that he's not scared to make the tough decisions, even if it's hard on him, because it's best for everybody. So Kyle's not man enough to do that. He's not man enough to be the asshole. He's not man enough to go, yeah, I traded him for more capital than what he was worth because he was about to fall off. He's not man enough to do that. I think this has become the regime of everybody gets their golden watch. And if we don't win a Super Bowl in the next year or two, we are going to be stuck with our aging people, because it seems like everybody's good to go. And it might not be true, but like the Cabo clique, they're expensive. And if you're just going to have them all together forever, we're going to be in trouble, because the way we play takes years off their eligibility, their chances of being
when you
on
planning
the
to ever get rid of Kittle, he's not even healthy again to start the season, like and he just gets more expensive.
What are you going to pay him on his second contract?
Yeah.
He might run off the WWE for all we know.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because that's
Look
that's
what Bebop
really
says. We're still paying D Ford.
I just, you know what?
Yes.
Honestly, going into this off season, I thought the whole D4 thing was a thing of the past. And it pisses me off when people bring me back down to reality, dude. Seriously, man.
Oh, don't.
But we can't talk bad about the regime, guys, because we got a franchise quarterback with the last pick of the draft.
Still paying D Ford, but can't bring that up because it looks bad against the regime. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're in like China or Soviet Russia
Nazi
or something.
Germany, Nazi Germany, shit.
Yeah, that one of them authoritarian governments where you can't have your actual thoughts said out loud.
It's sad. It's sad. I feel like we're the only team that suffers from this too. I mean, if we had the hardware to show for it, at least in this recent regime, it'd be cool. Hey, okay, fine, okay, I get it. Yeah, we don't need to criticize them. They won us something. But 2017 and we're in 2023, and we supposedly had the best roster for the past, since 2019 till now, we've had the best roster in the NFL. So, yep.
Speaking about Kyle real quick, one of my old investigators, and I had read this, on my show last week, but he had sent, he's a Cowboys fan, and he sent me this the other day. The headline of this story says, based off everything I've read and heard out of San Francisco, it looks like Trey Lance is finally getting some real coaching for the first time in his NFL career.
Well, I know that they put that picture of him standing next to McCarthy, and that picture doesn't really tell me much.
Nothing to do with the picture.
Yeah, that picture doesn't really tell me much.
Story written.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah, so that's from one of their big beat writers over in Dallas, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, jeez, man. Jerry Jones was probably like, "Oh, I can fuck these 49ers over. They got somebody with talent. They're
Yeah.
not taking the time to coach him. I just saw him whip on the Broncos by throwing the ball the majority of the time. Let me get this guy on the cheap."
And we were like, yeah, Jerry, here, let me bend over and pull my drawers out the way for you.
Pretty much.
Really? Isn't that, look, how much we're paying $15 million next year for him? Is a 4th round pick worth that shit?
Jerry Jones
Fuck
says
no.
a lot of shit.
Have you noticed the new pushback?
No, but
Phil,
you know what
the
I'm
new
saying?
quote.
I'm talking to Throwback.
Yeah, but have you heard the new one though? Go be a Cowboys fan. If you don't like what Kyle John's doing, go be a Cowboys fan. Go be a cow. Like, look, I got my last name engraved into a damn brick in the Levi Stadium. I'm a Niner fan. You know, like I'm proud of this team. I want this team to be the best they can be. Sorry, but Super Bowls are needed. If you're telling us year after year that we have the best roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're not happy with Kyle, go back to Tom Sula and Chip Kelly.
Because when Kyle's gone, those are the only 2 options, guys. That's it.
Yep.
Those are the only 2 options is players of those caliber.
Yep.
Yeah. There's nobody out there. Here we've got people on our coaching staff who could probably be good too. Like Steve Wilkes. Does anybody remember Steve Wilkes from his days in Carolina and all that other stuff? He got handed a raw deal in Arizona. You know what I mean? 1 year and just screwed. He had to deal with Josh Rosen. It seemed like he decided he was going to listen to his general manager, and his GM made all the decisions, and then he got screwed. And yeah, let's see. God, what do you see?
This tattoo. Kyle doesn't.
There you go. He does.
Right? He would never.
Dad says he's voting. He's voting for Coach Bash in 2024.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go that far. I love the team, but I'm never gonna be a coach. I could probably be a positional coach, like a D-line or offensive line coach, maybe assistant.
Water boy.
Be like Bobby Boucher.
Just hire one of Kyle's assistants. Just hire one of Kyle's assistants. You run the offense, okay? Steve, you're still under contract. You run the defense. I'll go make sure players don't get injured because I'll make sure we have enough ice tubs. See, it'll be perfect.
Speaking of one of Kyle's assistants, did you guys see? At least it's only preseason. I get that part, but it looks like they're doing the proper thing to develop a young rookie quarterback. The Texans, coached under DeMeco Ryans with CJ Stroud. So he looks to be on the right path. Too bad we couldn't have figured that out.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah,
because it didn't
sure
work
DeMeco
out.
was like, I know what to do. DeMeco's probably like, man, I can't wait to get my own team because they fucking up with this Trey Lance situation. Holy shit!
It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science either. It's like,
it's not the thing that really will make me want his ass fired is when it comes out that he made the decision that Sam Darnold was going to be the backup or the starter last season before the draft. Like the moment they knew they could get him, like if he made up his mind then, like skin his ass. Get him the fuck out of here. Because if you're going to make big decisions on a whim in the fucking off season and not let yourself weigh your options through camp and by what you see and by what you have invested in somebody, then you just need to get the fuck out of here.
oh, but he's the next Steve Young, guys.
I don't give a fuck. I ain't got time.
That's Steve Young and waiting in the wings, Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Some bullshit. Look, if his
Yeah.
ass was any sort of good, he wouldn't have been in preseason doing the bare fucking minimums. It was
Yep.
almost like I was like, "Hey, just all easy shots, bro. Just get your
Mhm.
completions, so I can point at these completions and be like, he's better."
Just coast through.
Yeah. We saw nothing that was. We didn't even see anything that was Purdy-esque out of him. Right?
He had
But this guy
one big
is,
throw.
yeah, but yet he's supposedly going to be able to take over for Brock Purdy when he needs, and he might even be better. No, we didn't even see any sort of Purdy-esque moves.
I pray to
it was
God we
just
don't have to see
vanilla.
that guy.
Yeah, it's definitely vanilla.
I pray to the ghost of Sam Darnold that we don't see him.
And it sucks that Purdy's coming off of this injury because he is talented. He looks pretty good. But to trust Purdy off of this injury and then have Darnold behind him, I mean, I don't know. I don't like that at all. Darnold's going to come eventually. If he steps up in these games, you're going to see the ghosts. I see ghost Sam Darnold pretty soon. It's not going to be this Sam Darnold that's turned over a new leaf with Kyle or anything like that. Sorry to burst anyone's bubble. But.
I'm also waiting for, like, if Trey, comes out and, starts killing, and then someone asks Kyle, "Hey, why'd you trade Trey when he this and that?" And Kyle's going to be like, "Well, we didn't know that he was going to be like this." It's like, that's why you fucking drafted him in the first place, because you thought he was going to fucking be like this, you dipshit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just waiting for Kyle to give these bullshit excuses that are clearly bullshit when you look at his fucking actions. You know what I mean? Like, so sick and tired that, oh, well, we couldn't see this coming. Oh, you couldn't? Like when they're talking about Hassan Ridgeway just blowing past the running back, not even looking in their direction toward the quarterback. Kyle was looking at the tape going, "Oh man, he's blowing past the guy. Well, he won't do that to my guy. He'll have to respect this one." No, idiot. His fucking coach is telling him, forget about that guy. That guy's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to attack the fucking quarterback.
You're talking about Reddick,
And
right?
Kyle and his, yeah, Hassan Reddick. I'm fucking sorry, I was pissed. Getting names all kerfuffled. Yeah, he's so just smells his own farts that he can't fucking see what's in front of him. If you see every time he's not even flinching, that means that's his assignment, asshole.
Yeah, that whole playoff run, Reddick was not even regarding the running backs, going straight to the QB for the pass rush, and the genius couldn't figure that part out.
Oh, and did you not see that? Are you not good at watching tape? If people can come out and go, "Hey, look, draw this conclusion later on," you should have seen that shit the week of, because that's your fucking job. Am I wrong?
Nope. Yeah. Throwback said something. Kyle continues to call the step drop back. Shaking my head.
Yes.
We don't have an all-world offensive line to do that like the Rams did with the greatest show on turf. So I don't know why we're doing that.
We don't have a quarterback that really justifies doing a 7-step drop. Kyle just likes these long breaking routes behind the receivers, and I think that's why he does the 7-step drops. It just takes up time instead of the quarterback hopping around.
It's not like we throw the deep ball 50 yards down the field.
That's what I'm saying. 7-step drop is for somebody with an arm. We just got rid of the only guy who really had an arm.
Well,
Sam
Darnold supposedly has an arm.
We don't see that from him. Yeah, but we don't see it from him because he's too scared to throw an interception, because he's terrible when he has to get creative or when he wants to be exciting. You know what I mean?
Go Niners, ladies and gentlemen.
And yeah, I love my Niners.
Me
Love 'em
too.
to death.
I did too. What do you think, Mariah?
That doesn't mean you can't criticize.
I'm tired of talking about all that same shit, so I don't think nothing about any of that. I'm done talking about stuff that has happened weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
Did I mention Il Manning?
We brought him up. We brought him up. Who was it though? Didn't we lose somebody? Oh, we did lose a DB that was pretty good. The guy who I've been pushing for this whole time, Deshaun Jameson, and he
Yeah.
was having a pretty
Yeah.
good camp as a corner because I liked him as a returner. But
Yeah.
on
yeah.
the comp,
Get the fuck
Yep,
out of here.
we let him go. We let
Get
him
the
go.
fuck out of here. Yeah. We're smart. We're 4D chess, bitches. 4D chess. Excuse me.
Uh-oh.
I don't
Damian
mean to
Lee's up in
curse so
here.
much, but
Shout out to
yes,
Damian Lee in the chat.
Damian Lee. I don't know where he ended up. Swan. I normally don't want to know. Normally don't want to know. I'll just wait for him to sneak up and surprise me. Like, oh, that guy was our guy. Like Joey's like, yeah, we got your was it DJ Reed? I was like, yeah, I know. I fucking know. He's like, yeah, he's great. What do you guys? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the Panthers now.
Joey.
He's on the Panthers. Let me change it up a little bit, just a little bit, sorta. Did any of you guys catch any college football highlights this past weekend, by any chance, or catch any on Twitter, or catch any games?
No.
Or okay. A lot of people on. Go ahead.
I did. Never mind.
Because a lot of people were pretty excited about what Colorado did, coached by Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders' son at quarterback, Shadur Sanders, freaking threw for like over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then he's got another son who's a free safety, and there's a shutdown quarter on their team named Travis Hunter, who all the 49ers were oohing on. All 49er fans were oohing on about because he's a shutdown corner and he can also play wide receiver. And he said he's a Niner fan too. So interesting, and nice to see Deion do that. And then the other thing is USC has a quarterback, Caleb Williams, that's just totally kick ass. Totally looks like he could be something in the NFL. And people on Twitter, Niner fans, were like showing clips of Shadur Sanders, the quarterback for Colorado, and some people were showing Caleb Williams. And each time they did, some people were like, "Oh, the 49ers should get him. The 49ers should trade Bose, and or they should trade their picks and get one of these guys." And I would always type and respond, "It doesn't matter because Kyle wouldn't know what to do with these guys. If we got Caleb Williams, Kyle would have him run up the middle 20 times a game because he thinks he's throwing better." So yeah, no, we're not getting those guys. Sorry.
Or screen pass, wide receiver screen, tight end screen, wide receiver screen.
Yeah.
Handoff.
I didn't see that
outside
coming.
Outside zone. It's why would I want to expand outside my system? I like the safety in the box jamming things up for us. Yeah,
like in the Super Bowl, the fourth quarter, right?
You know.
Like with the Honey Badger, he loved it when we didn't run the.
Can you tell me why Brandon Ayuk would want to come back to the 49ers next year?
Oh, we traded away his best friend, who happens to be a quarterback.
Let's put the friend issue out. Let's say that has no sort of lean whatsoever. What does Brandon Ayuk want to be?
A top wide receiver, and you can't do that here. Yep.
I think he wants to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver, and he definitely can't do that here. Not with who we have under center or in the room. Yeah. So, yeah. There you go, Kyle.
Not to throw any shade at Brock. Not to throw any shade at Brock Purdy, because he does have some certain things that are admirable when you watch him. He has certain qualities that are nice. He's got he probably up there. He's a very cerebral quarterback, which is something we didn't have with Jimmy. He has the mental part down. He may not be the ultimate physical specimen. I get that, He does have a little bit of athleticism with his feet. He's pretty quick, you could say. But this whole I don't know. I was gonna say something. I'm so pissed about this stuff.
He's very handy with his feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's handy with his feet. Like his feet come in handy for him at times. You know what I mean? Like there's no getting past that. He's just not
Okay.
He's not built to put the ball down the field.
I remember what I was gonna say now. I literally had like two or three Purdy stands either type in all caps or raise their voices at me saying Purdy does have a deep ball. He can throw deep. He does have a deep ball. It's like, let's not make somebody something he's not.
Well, last year he's thrown that he could push the ball farther than we expected him to throw it at times, but we haven't seen that at all this year.
Was it against the Commanders that one?
Oh,
sorry.
Well, to be fair, we haven't seen him much this year yet.
Yeah. Well, we have seen him. They just threw some short passes.
I mean, we've seen him for
knows
what,
if
10
that
fucking
was-
passes. Come on.
yeah. Look,
not get too
but
carried away.
at camp, people were saying that those balls were either sailing over or falling short. So there might have been a reason why we didn't see those in the game, because they didn't want to put it on tape like people were seeing in practice. That's why I'm talking about it, because I believe that there's something behind it from what we heard in camp.
I don't know. I heard that he completed deep balls too.
I'm not saying he didn't complete any deep balls. It's just that his ball wasn't as consistent. But the other thing is we don't know what side he was throwing, because we know that he's better on the left side than he is the right. So who knows if that had anything to play. All I know is I heard that his deeper balls were not his deeper balls
It
were
sounds
not,
funny anyway you say
as
it.
consistent. Yeah, that's why I just giggled and went back to it. I guess
His
when you get older, your
footballs.
balls start to hang, get a little deeper in your step.
Speaking of balls that hang, remember that touchdown that he threw to against the Commanders to Brandon Ayuk? Like, sure, it was nice that we got a touchdown for Ayuk and Brock threw it. I get that, another touchdown to pad his stats, but Ayuk had to turn around and wait for that. Had he not had incredible separation on that DB, that could have easily been picked off or batted down or something. But the ball got there pretty late and was behind Ayuk. So I just question his abilities to connect on deep passes down the field. So we will see. And back to Damian Lee really quick. I always see him make these Palpatine references. Is that for you, Ryan, or you did it again?
Yes, that is for me.
Why does he call you Palpatine? I know that's
Palpatine
one of the
sounds
Star
like
Wars
Pornhub.
movie.
Why do I sound like Pornhub?
Say with your deep balls references, balls deep or whatever. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
okay. Oh no, I don't listen. I don't watch Pornhub with the sound on.
You just read the subtitles.
Yeah, I just read the subtitles. I'm just there for the literature.
Oh. Hey, how are you doing, Mariah, today, energy wise? I know you weren't feeling too good earlier or something. I hope we're keeping your spirits up, and unless we got to bring some more energy, I'll try my best. Okay.
We should probably switch to the Steelers, because
let's
we
talk
have
about
been
the Steelers.
just
Talking about
pissed off
bullshit
shit
for
ranting.
45 minutes.
Mia Khalifa just unsubscribed.
Well, tell it how it is, Mariah.
Let's go. Let's talk about them Steelers in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Mariah, what do you think's going down this Sunday? Are we walking away with a win?
Had you asked me a month ago, I would have told you 100% yes, we're walking away with a win. today on September 5th, with Nick Bosa still not signed, with George Kittle still not practicing, with 5 other 49ers still not practicing. I'm not too sure. I'm about 30% sure that we're coming away with a loss at this point. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe 50% sure. I'm about half and half right now. I'm all over the place right now. If Bosa can get signed and maybe can play third down snaps, this is how I feel. Remember when TJ Watt was in this spot, a couple years ago, and he still managed to get signed at the very last minute and still managed to show up without any practice and got 3 sacks, whatever the hell it was, a strip sack, and caused all this chaos in the game that night without having any off-season training, all this shit, right? If we somehow get that from Bosa, they can sign him at the last minute, and we somehow still get him to play in that game, and at least have him on third downs. So what, maybe 9 snaps, 12 snaps at the fucking most? I'm feeling 75% better. Okay. Right now I'm about 50%.
And I want to add to that. Here's another concern. Say we do have Bosa, we better make sure that we're not getting down to 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. And if you're mentioning the third downs, I get that part, but we better be in 3rd and long. That's what I'm trying to say, because this run defense so far has not been looking like the typical 49er run defense. I know it's preseason and all that other crap, but regular season they better get back to what we've been these past few seasons.
Yeah.
Bebop hopes Ocho Cinco will play.
I just want to let Damien know that nobody has unsubscribed from my channel, so this statement right here is false.
Now, if we were walking into maybe the Cardinals week 1 or, some chumps, I would feel a lot better about us not having Nick Bosa, about us, having a couple players, that are down, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that we're walking into the Steelers are at home, the Steelers have a great defense. Pickett is another year in that they're just looking good. They had a great preseason.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm worried.
I'm worried about this Cameron Hayward guy, man. Is he their D tackle? He's got, he racked up about 10.5 sacks last year, 23 QB hits. They got a pass rush on their hands. They got TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. He had 14.5 sacks.
They have a hell of a defense.
Hits. Yeah, it's not going to be easy pickings.
And then they got what was his name? He was one of the defensive ends that was right around. No, he was right around our 99 pick. He was always there. It was like Hedberg.
Rookie. Okay.
Yeah, the rookie, the Hedberg. But he's coming on quick. Plus, they got 2 running backs. They got Najee, and then I can't remember the other guy's name, but he's killing it out there. It was just smashing people. So, and I was talking about this on Ted Show. They're probably going to run a form of deuces on us all game. So if you see our defensive line just getting pushed back over and over again, and they're just running up the gut, it's probably deuces, where they double team both tackles, and then they'll slide. One of the guards will slide off and go hit the linebacker, and they'll probably go 6 to 7 yards a clip with that play on us because of our defensive, our wide 9-4-3. It's the same place the Falcons used to just smash us in the face. The Raiders do it every time they play us. That's why we look like bitches.
Yeah,
there's other teams I can't just name off the back, but that's what, when you see our defense like sucking and people are just running power on us, that's what they're doing.
Yep.
So I expect that all day Sunday. And they got two guys they could just rotate.
That rookie you were talking about is Nick Herbert from Wisconsin. Wisconsin. This is a 3-4 outside linebacker. So I guess it's pretty good. I mean, what's his name? Swan Song did say something good. He said, I believe he said he's not sure how good or bad Pickett may be. So that is true, because Pickett, like last year, his rookie season, he looked pretty good in the preseason. And even this year, he's looking pretty good in the preseason. But we know what happened in the regular season. He didn't really look all that great. But
but this is the second year in the sixth.
Yeah, and he has an actual coach that can coach him up too. So you never know. Small hands Pickett might actually be something and might give us fits.
And he has a hell of a wide receiver with a great connection too.
He does. He's got two nice wide receivers. Deontay Johnson.
Man,
George
they
Pickens.
got fucking wide receiver you there. I swear.
Yep,
they just keep churning wide receiver after wide receiver after wide receiver year after year. Like, how the hell?
They don't have to worry about paying them. They know what they're looking for. They get the right guys. They got their own Bobby Turner.
Yeah.
They got their own Bobby Turner, bro. I'm just saying.
Their tight end's really good too, actually.
Pat Freiermuth. That's the other thing. So one thing I was, and him and Pickens are on the same page. Like I was watching a play and he turns over one side and he's in the middle of running, balls in the air. He realizes it's coming over to the other side, and he just makes so he's expecting it come over here, but the guy's trailing, right? So he doesn't know what side he's on. So he sees that the ball's coming, and that just saying, oh, the guy's on this side, so I'm going to turn here. He scores a touchdown. So they're on the same page, and that's not a good thing for us week one.
Yeah, Pickens is great.
Yeah, their tight end.
He's a scrapper.
Yeah, their tight end racked up over 700 yards last year. So I know we got Fred Warner. Our linebackers are pretty good, but it's not going to be easy. I know, and who knows, maybe Pickett might step up. And the Steelers historically do well on opening week games.
They do.
So, yeah, at home.
And we do bad. So
you can take that out of the equation, and it's still not a good look for us, because if you go back and look at their preseason games, you're going to see what we're worried about. They are firing on like every single cylinder right now. And I don't think we are. Like, we might be a V8, but we're running on 4 cylinders. And they're V6 running on every single cylinder. You know what I mean? So like that's where my mindset is. Our offensive line is horrendously slow to get started. We were one of the best offensive lines in the league at the end of the year last year. That was not the same case at the start of the year. We were pissed. We thought we screwed up with that. What is it, just Jake Brendel guy? You know what I mean? Why is McGlinchey still here? There's so much stuff thrown around, and it finally got better. You know what I mean? As the weeks went on, but it was not the same as at the end as it was at the beginning. And I expect that same thing to happen this year, because Kyle Shanahan's run scheme is so intricate that you need to practice it. And that's why as the season goes on, they become so nasty at it, is because they practice it so many more times. So like our shortened training camps, it really hinders on offense. It's so intricate as ours as far as the run play go, and even the passing, because a lot of these wide receivers, they have to learn the exact routes and be perfect, or else they're not going to be in the window. It's probably why Brandon Ayuk, you remember Brandon Ayuk talking about he needed to be exactly in the right spot, not 6 inches over here, but exactly in the right spot. So Yeah. I just
And
think
especially
we've got a lot
when the starters hardly
stacked
play in the
against us.
preseason now.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
don't know
why?
if you
Because
see
they're scared of injuries
Yeah.
that could be
It's like the O line
preventable.
gets no
It's the
time
injuries
together.
during practice.
Nothing.
Yeah. And it's the injuries that happen in training camp that started all this, I'm pretty sure. He was just scared of losing so many people in preseason, which if we look at it, most of it was happening in camp. But yet you're gonna take the time off of the preseason game because you're scared. Like you were scared about playing the first string offensive line so many snaps that you put Trey behind trash and got his finger busted. What's the offensive line there for? They're there to protect the quarterback. So if they're going to get their ass broke protecting the quarterback in preseason, that's going to happen in the regular season. That's going to happen. You just gotta. They're there to block for the quarterback, bro. If they can't do that during preseason, and that's too much for them, well, fuck. You got the wrong guy.
Yeah, you got to
We got
find out.
We got Nick Zakel though. Waiting.
Maybe that's why our quarterbacks
Yeah,
get
we got
freaking
Nick-
busted up because you don't find out.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
There's a couple of cool comments by Young Dick Dong in the chat. The one he had about Pickett was pretty funny. I don't know if you saw it. It's about
Pickett
Swan
has
songs.
Pick in his name.
And then he said another one too, just telling us to be faithful, whatever. And then he had another one about being faithful towards the bottom.
No, I seen that. Why faithful man? Where's faithful? Oh, like I had my daughter Faith, bro. Like we faithful.
Oh, your daughter's name is Faith. That's a good name. That's nice.
Yeah. That's
There's a
Mariah
country singer, Faith
49er
Hill.
Faithfully.
Oh, there you go. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Remember of that country singer Faith Hill?
No.
Or was it because of her? Or?
No, it was so my ex is religious, right? And when I was coming up with the name, I was like, I wanted to kind of make a thing with her middle name. So her middle name is really what she's named after, is her mom's middle name, my mom's middle name, and my stepmom's middle name. So I was like, well, how can I make this go together? So I came up with Faith. And I was like, I'm a Niners fan. So that's Faith, right? Faithful. And then I pass it off to them. It's like, well, you're religious, so Faith. And like, I'm a Niners fan. So that kind of works too. So I let them know that it was kind of 49, but I kind of said that the one was first, which it wasn't, because I don't, it's not my bag. It's their bag, and it's okay. Like it's their book. And there was one time we were talking on the phone and like, I was like, yeah, Faith, said her whole name. And she's like, yeah, I like that. And I said, yeah, that's probably the best thing I ever did was give you that name, because it's a good name.
Yeah. There's a little bit of banter in the comment section. Swan Song's like, I'm sorry, but when I see Niner Faithful, it makes me cringe. And Young Dick Dong, a funny name too, by the way, says what should you call it in terms of what should you call the fan base? Yeah, just when it comes down to kickoff, I'll be pumped up and excited, but I've just been through the ringer in this offseason. I hate to bring that up, and I hate to be Debbie Downer. And somebody in the chat called me and somebody else a Debbie Downer. I'm not sure if it was the last time we had all streamed together, or maybe it was when I was on with Ted, but a lot of crazy stuff's been going on, and where we're not playing, people think it's going to be easy pickings because Pickett wasn't that good last year or whatever. But it's just certain things that should have looked good to us. Like for example, like oh wow, we lost Jimmy Ward.
What makes you think a rookie quarterback who is picked late in the draft is going to have a miraculous first year? I'm more scared about his second year because he saw the brimstone and the fire last year. You know what I mean? He baptism by fire. So this year, he knows what he wants to accomplish first and foremost. You know what I mean? He's like, okay, I see what happened last year. If I do this thing in this certain situation, that'll cut out this much of my problems. You know what I mean? If I do this and that, and then I've only got this 10% where I'm gonna have to figure out. But at least I've got, 70%, 80% of this figured out right now. I just got to remember to hit the button at the right time. You know what I mean? Like that's where he's at right now. And that's dangerous. Maybe not to us week 1, but him later in the seasons, things start clicking, and especially with the guys he's got around him and the coach he's got, he could be on his way to something. Everybody talk about his hands. The man wants to knock somebody out. I'm just saying. Just saying.
And what were the Steelers saying? Was it Tomlin said that CMC is going to be our main focus? So I mean, looks like they're really want to key in on CMC. A lot of the work cut out for him because the guy just does a whole he can do pretty much everything at the running back position. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Anybody have any other thoughts about the Steelers game and what we might see? Anybody got a hot take or anything like that?
A hot take. Oh,
I had one. On Ted Night's show said that Cleveland Farrell was going to get 2 sacks.
Oh.
Yeah. I tweeted out today that basically because I just get this weird feeling that things may go wrong and we may not have Bose ready for that game. So I basically tweeted out hey, Cleveland Farrell and Drake Jackson better bring their A game. And I honestly didn't study and scout the 2 tackles for the Steelers. If you guys you want to speak on them, go ahead. Or if somebody in the chat wants to drop that, go ahead. But in any case, those guys need to step up, or they better get creative with their blitzing. Their blitz packages. Supposedly Steve Wilkes likes to blitz. And speaking of Steve Wilkes, that was one thing I want to bring up that was kind of one of those letdown things. Another letdown that this 49ers have done this offseason. We lost Jimmy Ward in the nickel, and then we lost Jimmy Ward in the nickel, and then they Isaiah Oliver is supposed to be this nickel guy that Wilkes is familiar with, and we paid him all this money, and so far he hasn't proven to be worth a shit. And he's on the roster, and I guess he's going to be our nickel this season. So he better get his shit together because Steelers mean business.
Swan is so mad in the chat that he's
love Swan.
Misspelling every other word, man.
I miss Swan. I haven't seen that guy in a long time, but I had to message him about the Trey Lance thing, and a good thing I heard from him.
I'm gonna say TDP is gonna score a touchdown. And I'll go with
changes.
I'm gonna go with Drake Jackson will get an interception.
Whoa. Okay. Does those balls down.
Yep.
Sure does. He had a pick against the Raiders, right?
He's gonna pick one this time.
Yep.
Okay.
Those are mine too.
Well,
I
have a feeling without Bosa on the field that Drake Jackson and Cleveland Farrell are going to get a lot of snaps, which is good for them.
So I got my takes. Here we go. I'm ready. Javon Hargrave will get a sack, and we will see an interception from Talanoa Hufanga. Love saying that name. Met the guy, really nice guy too. So humble.
All right.
Is hard? Okay. I was just thinking, is Hargrave getting a sack really a hot take? Because he should.
Well, I'm just grouping it together.
Gotta be a hot take, just a take.
I don't know what would
just a take.
It doesn't have to be a hot take. It doesn't have to be a hot take.
It could be a cold take.
Yeah.
Okay, what about yours, Ryan?
Oh, that's what I said. Cleveland Farrell, 2 sacks.
Okay.
Okay, how about this? Armstead gets a sack too.
All right.
There you go.
So Hargrave
That's a thing.
and Double A, both a sack. All right, so Farrell 2 sacks. What else? One more.
Well, I have
I got
a
one
sack
more.
from Hargrave, sack
Yeah,
from
I got both
Armstead,
yours.
and a pick from
I need
interception from
one more from Ryan.
Okay.
I'll go interception by Jair Brown.
Jair
Okay.
Brown.
I like it.
Yeah, I have a feeling Wilkes will probably mix him up a little bit. And I still like our other safety, whose name totally escapes me. Our free safety. We had a pretty good. It was
Gibson?
Tyshawn Gibson. Yeah,
Mhm.
Tyshawn Gibson. There you go. Thank you, Mariah. And Young Dick Dong says in the chat, second to last, he says Glock Purdy is reloading for hunting season. I hope you're right, dude, because he's our only hope right now. He's our only hope. Lance, who I had high hopes for, is completely gone. I don't give a flying fuck about Sam Darnold. And Purdy, like I said, he's got a great mentality, great head on his shoulders, really, really good guy. Just a great football mind while he's on the field, and he's got quick feet. And I'm not seeing the stat line at 350 yards, maybe, but I can see a good game, and hopefully he does have a good game.
Reload the Glock, baby.
I made money off of Brock Purdy last year with
You did.
him throwing 2 touchdowns like every game. Yeah. I just put money on for him to throw 2 touchdowns, and it was money. It was fucking money, bro.
He does have a better eye for the red zone than what we saw from Jimmy in years past. I mean, we finally saw George Kittle get touchdowns in the red zone on a regular basis, which was good to see.
Yeah, the Purdy bet would cover my parlay. So I was gambling for free pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I get my money back.
Juan Songs killed it in the chat.
Parlay never hit, but
Look at that one.
yeah,
Over under
we having
3.5
fun here.
carries for Devo. I'm gonna go under.
Yeah.
3.5 carries for D. Is that the Vegas line? What are we doing here, Raphael? That's a toughie. Sure would have been nice had we ran Debo more in that. Sure would have been nice had we ran Debo more in that Super Bowl. Just saying.
Because we
Yeah,
have,
you know.
we have.
Well, we had to
Bell
save
now,
him. We had to save him to run it all one whole
plus
season.
CMC,
So we had to save
so
him.
I don't think we're going to be running Debo that much.
And it didn't work a lot last year when we tried the wide
Exactly.
back thing. Everybody was
'Cause
like,
they
yeah,
know
okay.
they know it's coming.
Yeah. So now I would just use it as a decoy.
Hmm.
Yeah, he is in shape, and Raphael said he's in shape. Yeah,
But we don't need to do it. Why risk hurting
Yeah.
him for something we
He's
don't
not.
need?
And
We
speaking of
ran
getting
him
hurt-
before because we needed to run him. It was a necessity. We either ran him or we lost.
It was a necessity.
I'm gonna cross my fingers for Elijah Mitchell, because if he can find a way to stay healthy, and as long as Shanahan diversifies the carries, we could probably have Mitchell around, and Mitchell and CMC could be one of the better 1-2 punches in the NFL this season. I like JP Mason, of course. He's explosive. He needs to hold on to the ball a bit better. TDP needs to learn how to pass block. I'm rooting for the guy too. I met his dad, and so we'll see. We'll see how those guys work out for us.
What do you think about this? The screen passes for Debo, 3.5 over under. That's a tough one.
I'd say
Because-
under 3.5.
Yeah, because his screen passes haven't been working as of late. Well, it didn't work last year very well, but I think that had to do with his speed because he was fat. So this year it might be different because he had no acceleration last year. Like he'd get the ball in there, he'd make moves, but he didn't have enough acceleration to get past the first guy and get into open space where he could actually start making moves to juke people and get them out of his way.
I'll say 2. I'll go under.
It almost seemed like Debo kind of did still have some acceleration, but he gassed out really, really quick. Once he got past the linebackers, it's like the secondary just completely caught up to him at times.
Yeah. Or the linebackers would catch back up with him the moment he had to make a move to miss somebody else. He had no like separation speed. He had no acceleration through the hole. And I'm glad he not only did a 180 this year, but he admitted it. Because to me, when you go out on national media and you say something like that, it's to hold yourself accountable. Not to anybody, but to yourself, because you put it out there.
Yeah.
Now everybody knows you know that. And now you have to either fulfill that same requirement, or you have to just be mocked by everybody else. So it's kind of like burning the ships once you get to the new world, to make your men more, focused on the getting the goal done, so you can build your ships and go back home. You know what I mean? Like, it's I don't think Bose is going to be traded to the Jets. We heard the trade thing. There's still no talk about it. Obviously, that wasn't a good enough deal. I don't think anybody's going to be able to. The 49ers want too much most of the time. I don't know how Cowboys got a fourth. I think the only reason why is because Trey wanted to be traded.
Well, it's honestly, as much as I love Trey and I wanted him to succeed with the Niners, I mean, and the way the NFL works, regardless of where you're drafted, you need actual game film for the most part, especially if it's after 3 years. That you got to have some type of resume to show that you garner more than a fourth or a third or whatever. So it was a shitty situation for us, unfortunately. And the best option would, in my opinion, obviously would have been to hold on to the guy and fucking try to make something out of him. But we all know how that went. And for the record, I did go on Twitter just now. I don't see any updates as far as Bosa. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right. I think it's time to wrap this baby up. I'm sure Mariah's stuff she wants to go get to.
Yep.
The rest of us don't have a life.
I appreciate you guys in the chat, man. You guys have been making it fun.
Yeah, you guys are fire. Swan, really appreciate you stopping in, sir. Long time no see. Nice to have you back, sir. Let everybody know where they can find you, Bashar.
Obviously, you can find me on my channel, which is 49er Minded, and I like to bring on different guests. I did slow down with bringing on guests and doing my own, solo shows, so to speak, but not solo shows, but my non collab shows. Because my main collab shows are with you, obviously. You guys every Tuesday we rotate channels. Last weekend we had on my channel. Next week it's going to be on Mariah's channel, 49er Faithfully. So check that out. And on Fridays I do the gig with Ted, everybody's favorite guy on Twitter. It's called Ballin' with Bash and Ted. But usually throughout the week, aside from my planned collaborations, I usually sprinkle in like random guests that I just bring on from time to time. And I slowed down a lot with that over the past few weeks. And I'm going to bring that back up this regular season. So I'm going to try to bring on some great guests, as they say. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Got the best guests.
That's what separates me from the others.
Mariah, would you?
You can find me Thursday. Me and Steph, Thursdays at 3 Pacific time on 49 Faithfully. We'll have a Steelers content creator on this week to break down the Steelers game. And then me and TL will be live sometime this week. I'm not sure what day we're going live yet. Yeah. And
they have giveaways. TL's awesome, by the way. And
giveaways.
Yeah. Big giveaways. Prizes, fun and games.
Much love, fellas. Always a ton of fun.
Little spongies here.
Yeah. And then I should probably be streaming Thursday for the game. So check me out there. Friday night, I believe I've got the first part of the Friday night pregame starting at 7 o'clock. So check that out. And then I will be on the, what are we calling it? The after hours the after hours show. I'll be on that too. Yeah, it's getting a little bit. We're breaking the Friday night show up into 2 shows, so kind of get a little more exposure for the gang. But yeah, with that, appreciate everybody for showing up tonight. You've been the best.
Appreciate
Chat was lit.
Appreciate you
Fire.
guys. You guys are lit.
Stay
Young Dick
faithful,
Dong.
big dick dongs.
Yep.
I mean, whatever.
Young Dick Dong wants some Swan to be back on. So he said, "Bring Swan on Wednesdays. He wants to see his hot takes."
Well, if you subscribe to Mariah 49er Faithfully and Bashar 49er Minded, Dick Dong, we might have to make that happen.
Swan comes on my
James.
show a lot during the season, so
Yeah. Swan, like, I guess him and Pinora, I'm guessing they just kind of go their blackout mode during the season.
James is here. He's a little late to the
Shout out
party.
to
What's up,
James.
Swan's wife doesn't let him watch content during the non-football season.
Ooh.
It's scared. You take off the Y. Yeah, the
Don't be
ED.
scary.
Some people say scary though. They use it that way.
Mhm.
I've heard that way back in the day in the Bay Area.
Swan's wife
And-
locks him in
and
the
we are-
closet during
Where is his
from
possible-
January till September.
Yep. And with that, we are out of here.
Don't be
Outta here.
scary.
Appreciate you.
Go Niners. We won't
Don't
be
be
scary.
scary. Don't
Peace.
be scary. And we're out.
Yeah.